Good morning. Welcome to the Spokane Ferries. Join us today as we discover the wonders of Washington State ferries. We're currently at the Edmond-Kingston Ferry Terminal. Come along! With over 2,000 employees and 21 vessels, Washington State ferries are pretty big. Come on, let us give you a tour.
Your attention, please. We are now arriving at our...
Today we will be exploring the effects of the Washington State ferries on the growth, culture, and economy of the surrounding Puget Sound Islands. First, like to mention and recognize the indigenous communities that still and once lived on the Puget Sound Islands. They were actually the original ferry system, as they would canoe settlers back and forth between islands.
To reiterate what Maeve said, before any sort of large-scale ferry system was created, the natives would paddle settlers to and from the mainland, as well as from island to island. Immediately following the Industrial Revolution, with the development of the steam engine, mainstream ferries at a large scale were introduced. This came first with the Blackball Line's Mosquito Fleet, a small collection of steam engine-powered, passenger-only ferry boats, as well as other developments like the railroad. Prior to the movement of settlers to Whidbey, the Skagit and Snohomish tribes maintained the land for thousands of years. On May 30th, 1792, Lieutenant Joseph Whidbey stepped foot on the island. In the next 100 years, towns would spring up all over, and due to the Land Donation Act that was passed by Congress, it granted land to any male white settler that asked.
Vashon Island, originally maintained by the Swift Water people, were forced off their land in 1855 and were sent to live on the Puyallup Reservation, although they do still maintain their fishing and shellfishing rights on the island.
The first inhabitants of Bainbridge Island were the Suquamish tribe. Settlement of the eastern chunk of the island was prominent for generations when the town of Winslow voted to annex the entire island under the Treaty of Point Elliott in 1855. Soon after, logging on the island took over, and it became one of the largest, most prominent industries on the island.
The San Juan Islands were annexed into the U.S. in 1872, following the bloodless war called the Pig War. For many years, Great Britain and the U.S. disputed islands' possession. However, the islands have been proven to be inhabited for over 9,000 years. The San Juan Islands are home of the Northern Strait Salish, which include the Lumi, Samus, Saanich, and Songhees. Since the first contact in the 1790s, foreign presence was prominent, ranging from Spanish and American settlers and officials. Friday Harbor became one of the main epicenters for economy and business for all of the islands as a whole. To this day, it is a major tourist attraction.
So each of the islands have their own unique culture and economy. For Whidbey, there is a major focus for local wineries. Also, I'm sure you've heard of Whidbey Pies, which is a company that's based in Whidbey that uses the fruit that they grow there in the orchards and makes pies that are in stores like Safeway and Metropolitan Market, as well as QFC in the Village. Also, Vashon has a unique art scene, and this includes musicians, art galleries, ceramics, all kinds of stuff like that. It also attracts a lot of people who are retiring, which they actually have a majority of an older population. The San Juans have a major tourism culture with Friday Harbor and Roche Harbor. There's weddings in Roche Harbor every year, and Friday Harbor attracts many people from the mainland who are looking for a fun day of hiking, backpacking.
Besides from tourism, the San Juan Islands economy revolves around fruit. They grow things like apples and pears and cherries. They actually once used to use the public ferry system to get their fruits back and forth to the mainland. Some even call it the breadbasket of Washington.
Whidbey Island's economy is split in two halves. On the north half, the economy relies on the naval base, which employs a large amount of the population, along with Oak Harbor, which has a variety of chain stores and is a service-based industry. The south is more reliant on small-scale tourism, the arts, and agricultural draws. Whidbey is home to some amazing hiking trails, as well as Deception Pass, which is a heavily trafficked part of the island. Vashon Island's main economic source is through the commuters via the ferry system. In the past, they focused on locally grown fruit and the presence of the K2 manufacturing warehouse, which is a ski company. However, due to the difficult growing seasons and the company leaving, they have begun to look towards commuting. The island also has a prominent art scene ranging from music, painting, ceramics, and thanks to their new performing arts center, theater. Today, tourism-based economies and retirement communities are the main economic stimulation for the San Juans. Each day, hundreds of people flock to the islands for a variety of activities such as biking, hiking, camping, as well as the daily whale watching tours that they offer. These provide a nice break from the hustle and bustle of Seattle and have become a major tourist attraction for Washington State. Bainbridge's main economy booster is the use of the ferry system for everyday commuters. Recently, a new terminal was built to help reduce wait times and create a more systematic approach to the terminal. People from both Seattle and Bainbridge commute either way to their jobs. These range from tech positions, professors, and researchers.
Although there was ways of getting to these islands before the foundation of Washington State ferries, it was not mainstream. Due to the growth and accessibility of Washington State ferries to the public, culture shifted. It grew to a more commercialized form, and the islands became a major draw of the PNW. Through the Washington State ferries, an aquatic highway system was created for the islanders and all Washingtonians to have access to these beautiful lands. Cultural and population diffusion is only possible through major modes of transportation. For example, present-day highways, and also the development of steam engines in regards to railroads during the Industrial Revolution.
Okay, we're down here at the Bainbridge terminal, and we have an interviewer. So do you live on Bainbridge?
Live on Bainbridge.
Okay, and then what do you do for work here in Seattle?
I'm a professor at University of Washington.
How long have you been commuting from Bainbridge here via the ferry system?
5 or 6 years.
How do you think that the ferry terminal has the ferry system has affected your life, especially since you've been only been commuting for 5 years?
It's nice to have more space.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to wait for the ferry to wait. Other than that, I usually pop on right when it's getting ready to leave and pop off and run up to work. So I don't spend a lot of time.
And then during COVID, how did you think that changed or maybe
I work from home every day.
How many times per week do you take the ferry?
Probably between 1 and 3 times round trip.
And do you live here in Seattle?
I live on the island.
How do they impact your daily life?
Yeah.
I love the ferry. I feel like it gives you a great time to enjoy some beautiful scenery and be relaxed and while you commute instead of being in stressed out traffic. And I just think it's a beautiful part of living on the island that I truly appreciate, and I think it is mostly reliable. I think people complain when it's not, but overall I think they're doing pretty good.
So how many years have you been commuting to work via the ferries?
20.
What do you do here?
I work for a commercial real estate company.
Do you live on Bainbridge?
I do.
How do you feel that the ferry system is different after COVID?
It's been very challenged because of equipment and staffing.
Okay.
Because of the worldwide shortage of staff, basically qualified mariners.
Before the pandemic, the downtown ferries for Bremerton and Bainbridge would see thousands of riders per day, totaling in around 25 million per year. But this issue has not resolved post-pandemic. The ridership levels as of 2022 were down by at least 5 million, ranging as low as 17 million per year. To the islanders, the ferry system is their freeway. In many instances, it is their only connection to the mainland. For many residents, their medical appointments and families live on the mainland, and so regular trips are common. The ferry system post-COVID, along with many other jobs, are experiencing shortages, both in staff and equipment. According to an article proctored by San Juan County, many residents on the islands are unhappy. For Annette Crosby, a resident of San Juan Island for many decades, said that this last year traveling has become unreliable, and as a result, she is considering moving off the island because of the ferry issues. For Gay Graham, a longtime resident of Friday Harbor, the recent cancellations on the ferry schedule have taken a great toll on her life. Gay Graham suffers from an eye condition that needs treatment every 3 to 8 weeks to avoid blindness. With a regular ferry schedule, Graham was able to leave on an 8 to 5 ferry to be at her appointment on the mainland and be home the same day. The recent spur of cancellations has left her considering other options.
The islanders rely on the ferries to continue their growth, which is largely based around their economies. The major theme throughout the islands is their reliance on tourism. Each of the islands have their own unique draws. The reality is that much of them are only accessible via ferry. Without the ferry system, everything would be different.